The final video of sealed games and original box proofs from the former Nintendo employee. So here we are, and I am hoping that this box is the missing video games. So I thought there were 4 boxes of sealed video games for the employee. I think this is it. So I'm actually relieved now because it's been, built up in the back of my mind, this tension. Also, some of the games in here are ones for myself. I am not letting all of this stuff go. Now, this is the very end of the wrapping where I was like, I got nothing else to wrap. Throw your shirts in there. Oh, there's the tube at the, here's my receipt. I think we're good to go. So here we'll have the last of the sealed games from the former Nintendo employee. Yes, it's here. Okay. Not over dramatic, and I'm being completely serious with you. I was flipping my... Anyways, we have proof boxes. The last of the proof boxes are up here, all wrapped beautifully in tissue. We will analyze these another time, as in towards the end of the video. These are all sealed Game Boy games and Virtual Boy games. I'm so happy to have the last ones show up. Check it out. I think they all survived just fine. So they all came from a former employee who kept everything dead stock sealed. You'll notice a couple games in here are pretty badass, but the ones that I personally love and collect is all the fantasy RPG role-playing games. So we're going to deal with those first. So, wait, I said the second one. Probably the first one is in here, but we'll save that. Here's Advance Wars 2, sealed. I love my Advance Wars. And I'm not just saying it like, oh, I love this game. No. When I go to Japan, I had my DS out. For every time I was on the train, the Yamanote line, going from Akihabara to Ikebukuro to Shibuya to Osaka on the Shinkansen, I was playing Advance Wars over and over and over, getting perfection of 100% in that game, at least in my mind, of how well I could do. And this is a sealed copy. This is for my collection, and I'm actually excited about this. It hits home, and it hits the heart. Golden Sun is another game that I'm a fan of. I was playing this exact game in Japan as well. And I got to this Temple of the Moon and the Sun, or is that another Golden Sun game? And I just couldn't beat it. To this day, I never could defeat that part. But everything here is dead stock. It is flawless. It is mint. There's going to be a couple games with some issues, but they're all going to get submitted to be graded. None of them will be sold, but like I said, the first ones we're pulling out, these are all the keepers. Oh, Fire Emblem, dead stock, sealed. And again, I think the market's waning because, the prices were quite up there a couple of years ago. Now that's 2022. These are a couple $100 each or more, depending on the grades that they receive. They could be much, much more, but all the RPGs here are for myself, so I don't care. But on average, they're probably around a couple $100 each or more. Sword of Mana, dead stock, sealed. Unfortunately, no Final Fantasy games were found. I could call out names, but I will not. Super Circuit Mario Kart, sealed. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely flawless. We have a follow-up with Wario Land from Virtual Boy. Ooh, look at that. It shines. All the Virtual Boys I'll sell off. I did rent that as a child from our local store. Oh, I am blind as a bat. Thank you. Advance Wars #1. Yes. Absolutely excited to have these two. NBA 3-on-3 versus 4-on-3 or 10-on-3. I'd be more excited for the 10-on-3 game, just see how lopsided that'll be, how difficult it would be. We have Rayman 3. I think this one's a little uncommon. I could be wrong because a lot of games, I'm not an expert on video games, but since the market had exploded since 2020, a lot of people dug out and searched for more sealed games, cases, and things that were uncommon became common. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not 100% sure, but I do know the Pokemon Puzzle Challenge Dead Stock Sealed is a killer game. That one I'm excited to get back to see what it gets. I'm hoping, classic 9.8. But I mean, most of these, I never sent into that company, but I'm going to guess either the usual 9.5, 9.4, 9.6. We have the trading card game. Absolute dead. Ooh, limited Pokemon card inside. I should open it just to find out. What do you guys think? So those two are pretty big bucks. I mean, I think those might be at least $1,000 each for the Pokemon games. Magical, Mickey and Minnie. I do not know my games as well as everybody else is who's watching. So I was surprised that some of the Mickey Mouse games were more of a high dollar. I don't know if this is one. It's been a while. It's been like a couple months I've researched everything. Panic Bomber. Bomberman. Love my Bomberman. I'm gonna let it go, but it's not a classic Bomberman game. As you can see, there's more of the puzzle bottle style. We are on to the next side. Check it out. We have more Virtual Boys. I'm not excited about Virtual Boy. Another Panic Bomber. Dead Stock Sealed. Another Wario Land. I cannot complain about these being the games that are extra. So these games are probably $200 each or a little bit more for these. Some of the lesser titles, like the Tele Roboboxing, they'll probably be like 100, 150 because let's just say in general, they're difficult to find, but they didn't sell well. So the stock that is out there is still sealed. I didn't want to close the seal on. I was just so scared that it was going to hurt the cellophane. I just didn't want to finish that off. There's 3 Warios. And the golf. My God. If I sell this, I can go buy some property in Bermuda and just call it a day. Not really. And to wrap it up, we have, which was crushed, and I can't tell you if this was crushed based upon my shipping being at the edge, but I chose it to be the edge because if all the games are sealed in this box, this is the one I would like to have received damage if it came to it, because it's not that big dollar value. Wow. Okay, it was a simple box opening, but a lot of great stuff, and I'm relieved that I did not lose this box. It's when you wrap these things at the FedEx or a UPS, the post office, and you're doing it for quite a while, professionally wrapping everything, people noticed. So I had a couple of people, employees at one of these locations, they were noticing that, oh my God, I collect video games. And I was just like crying because I think they're going to really help you to make sure you get that product because they're good people and they love to have the same passion as you do for games, or you may not see your box. So in my brain, it's just always been like, did you get everything? Did you get everything? We got everything. Thank you. And here we are. I almost forgot. The final stack of box proofs. Just saying a stack of box proofs of original Nintendo packages is good enough, let alone to say this is the final stack. I'm just happy to have any of them. Let's see. Let's unravel the fresh, soft, Charmin toilet paper. Not really. This is the hotel toilet paper. Nasty. Actually, no, I think I did wrap this at the individual's house that I picked these up from. But I actually do not remember what is in this stack because it was like 2 a.m. at the hotel and you're like, I gotta get this stuff done. So we might be in for a big surprise, or it could just be a whole bunch of Bugs Bunny Game Boy games and it's a zonker. Nope, we have N64 and possibly some Super Nintendo in here. So I am very pleased. So if you didn't know, box flats are flat boxes. Duh. No, flat boxes, sorry. Proof boxes are samples sent from the factory to Nintendo to show the final product, what it's going to look like, and that allows the Nintendo employees to look it over, see if all the spelling is correct, if the images are correct, the final product to say yay or nay, and if any changes are to be made. And at times changes are to be made. At times there are differences between boxes and the production boxes because they did make that change. They've never been folded. They're just samples sent to Nintendo. This top one was folded. It is the flashy collector's edition with some condition issues. Not a problem. Let's move forward. These are the box flats. Let me see if I should rotate the whole stack. Wah, wah, wah. So we have F1 Grand Prix. You can see how it's never been folded. Everything is as good as it gets for mintness. There'll be some light creasing, of course, just because of the years is how it's been handled and transferred. It's not easy to keep these in tip-top shape. I use comic book sleeves right now because nobody's making specialized cases for them. We have Road Runner 3D. No barcode. So this one actually possibly could be... So it has no barcode on this one, but it's not a display box. Now, again, with previous videos I've mentioned, there were display boxes that were created by Nintendo, sent to stores that look just like the production boxes, but they will say on the sides, display only. These do not have display only. These are the actual proof boxes. Also barcode missing. On a couple of these, I could be wrong. I may have missed a little text here or there. Again, I'm not a complete expert on these things. But yeah, so far we got a lot of sports games. We have golf. World Cup. Oh my God, World Cup 98. What is this? It's not football. Does anyone know what this stuff is? I've never even seen this. There's like a net and a ball on the ground. That's insane. Ah, much better now. Extreme G. Now, if anyone sees anything that's different with these packages, or maybe it was unproduced, let me know, because right now I haven't gotten that far along in my research, though I am well aware 1080 was produced. Jet Force Gemini. Now that's a pretty cool cover. Actually, I've never even heard of this game. That's cool. Oh man, you know, sports games are sports games. They did very well for Nintendo, but as a collector for myself, I don't want any sports games. Ooh, now Ridge Racer, that is something I played as a kid. Not the N64. It's like a Saturn, but that I love that. I love that. In Japan, they would make the girl their little statues and gashapons. That's pretty much a keeper right there. Battle Tank. I like how it says 3DO up in the top there. South Park. Now that's pretty cool. That's an excellent crossover. I wish there would be like a Final Fantasy 2 in here, but there isn't. Oh, that'd be killer. Ah, Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey. Solid piece. Again, look how mint and flawless these packages are. These are all just samples sent from the factory. MRC, Multi Racing Championship from Ocean. We have 2 of those. I saw a little glimmer of Super Nintendo down there. Hell yeah. We have All-Star Baseball 1999. Excellent. So, again, I'm not going through the boxes each because it eat up too much time, but if you see anything that says display on them, let me know. But so far, I haven't seen anything of that because it would be usually a large box right down here in the corner saying display only. And we don't have that. We have a lot of love here, a lot of South Park love. Okay. Now, you saw how fast I went through the N64s. Now, I had N64 as a kid. There was a number of games that I loved, but the Super Nintendo is where it hits home for me the most. So I had to pause there and be like, okay, now I'm excited. Toy Story. Never played that as a kid. So this is the original. Box flat. Oh, it's just so meant. Deja vu. Toy Story. And these were kept by the employee of that 1 year's issue. I don't know why he has certain games versus other games. I'm just assuming he just got an assortment for that quarter or a couple quarters or a year or portions, and that's what it is. So that's why it's a mixture of what it is. I just wish there was more RPG or shooters. Ooh, Ken Griffey. This one had a attached hanger tab there. This is unusual. See, right there. Boom. Shakalaka. For display only. So that's why this had a hang tag. So this is what we were talking about earlier. This is not a proof box, but it's very similar, as you can see. But this was the one that was sent out to stores. You'd fold it up, put it out on a showcase or on the front checkout area. So the purchasers or whoever not be would be like, oh my God, great advertising. That's the game. Let me know more about it. For display only. Present, very large, very apparent. But still, uncommon, not big money. They're out there, but still, it's not what we're here for. Some of these got stuck in the stacks. That's how it is. We're here for the proof boxes. Tetris 2. Tetris Attack. Again, I'm hoping for RPG games, and here's what I'm getting is Tetris. Tetris Attack. Oh, SimCity. Now, this is a game I had as a kid, and I loved the snot out of it. This is the player's choice version, but at this point, what are you going to do? Complain? This stuff just doesn't show up at all. So I'm very happy, and that is a keeper. Arkanoid. Now, the original Nintendo Arkanoid I played when I was really young. Done it again. And an exclusive joystick. We used to rent that from our local... I had a video hotline store in Illinois. That's Punch Out, Super Punch Out. And we'd rent all the games there, including Japanese games. They were the ones that hooked us up for all the Japanese import games. And that's how we picked up, as for my family, the N64 system from Japan before anyone else got it, let alone we were playing like Mario 3. Like, I went to the theater to see The Wizard, and at the very end, they're showcasing, Get the Flute. And I looked at my brother, and we were just like, oh my God, because we've been playing that game already, and we had no idea. We just ran right home like, oh my God, the flute. And let alone, oh my God, Super Mario World Yoshi's Island 2. That is what we were hoping for. Please be more of this underneath here versus like F1 racing or anything. That is solid. That's a keeper. Donkey Kong Country 2. That's a great piece. We're into classics now. Okay, I'm seeing it as I lift it. Yes. Boom. Legend of the Seven Stars. Yeah, I'll take 2 of those. Hell yeah. And we wrap it up with PTO, Pacific Theater Operations, which actually sounds pretty cool. What's up with this? So look at this. This is pretty interesting. I didn't notice this until now, and it's the last box. Isn't that fascinating? So this one might have been folded at some point. No? What is this? What is up with that? Now, some of this stuff could also be used, let's say, at E3 or other conventions to promote the upcoming stock. So for toy companies, they would do mock-up packages or just have the final product pieces, which with this, there's no display windows. I mean, they just have the empty boxes. So it's possible this doesn't look like it was folded. I'm not going to find out the hardware right now, but what is with this black tape? So if anyone from Nintendo who worked back in the 90s at some of the conventions or internally can let me know why black tape was applied there. That is really fascinating. It's not just black tape in general. It's like a threaded tape. More mysteries. Scooby-Doo mysteries. So that is a fantastic way to end the final stack of box proofs, and let alone Super Nintendo box proofs. And I don't think I'll ever get anything that badass again, or pre-production for Nintendo. But we have more boxes full of pre-production. So let's continue.